Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we get started in just 1 second, so stay tuned with transformations. Just in one more minute. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. It is Monday night, 7 o'clock. Transformations program is on. If you don't know about transformations, what am I all about? What is this concept all about? Well, it's about leveling up. We'll get back to that in just a moment. However, learning the art and the science and the philosophy of transformation is really where the rubber meets the road. We all want better things. There is shifting times happening right now. And let me pull up what I have for you regarding that topic. But with that being said, we are in amazing times right now. And so we are really live. So I'm just checking in first and foremost. Can you hear me? How am I coming in? Give me some feedback there. And then I'm going to be showing you a few slides, a few concepts. And then we're going to be doing some fun discovery together here. And if you have any questions, I'll be right here. I have the chat up. Hopefully you caught the hello. Give me some thumbs up if you can hear me, and I'll see that in the chat. And then we're gonna get talking about this topic right here. Oh my goodness, I have something I need to edit right there. Okay, transformations right there. All right, so I have there's a lot of technology going on, and we're going to be talking about 4 foundations. We're talking about how you actually go about transforming. And let me just shift this slide. I had a lot of things open and closing all at once. And this is really happening, people, live. So let's take a look. And you know what? What do you think? Apostrophe S? I think that's the right answer. So let's dive in a little bit. So it is time for change, ladies and gentlemen, and you may have been feeling it. It feels like uncomfortableness. It feels like restriction. It feels like physical pain, emotional pain, life pain. These are the things we're talking about here in Decode Your Pain. Learning the language of the subconscious and how it speaks to you. Because, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, the subconscious is what regulates and orients you in life. It helps you choose your decisions. It helps you. It actually can keep you stuck. It can bring you into problems if we're unaware of the gymnastics of the mind, of the mechanics of thinking. With that being said, how do we know what to work on? How do we know what's right for us now in the moment? Because you probably heard of it like me. It's about being in the now. What does that mean? I had a hard time coming around to that understanding. So if that's been a challenge for you, or you know what I'm talking about, give a thumbs up. Share this with somebody. Spread the word, because that's how we connect with more people. That's how we spread the word, spread the message of self-realization, self-actualization, and in that process, transformation. Now, why would transformation be important? Well, number one, change is always happening, period. Time for change. It's always going on. And how do we measure that? This is one of the best images I found, but it's a YouTube guy, and I did like his explanation. However, that being said, maybe I should find a better graphic for alignment with my stuff. But here we're looking at the signs of the zodiac here. Now that's just a way of deciphering what we're looking at when we're looking at the stars, but this is where our holidays are set to. The calendar that we've come to know is based in this, though it's not the original interpretation. In fact, there's multiple interpretations about timing of things. And why am I, I'm hoping you're asking the question, why do I keep talking about time? Well, we talk about the shift that's happening right now, the thing that's happening in the world, but it's also happening within us. This is the idea of these natural laws, and this is important in your life because it's literally bringing about the results that you're getting or not getting in your life. Now, there's different areas of our lives. There's a social, recreational, spiritual, personal, physical, a career, that's vocational, a familial, a family life. There's a personal life, financial. There's all these different areas, and where are we in those areas? How are we judging ourselves? And is there ways to unlock the patterns that are holding us back and to align us with ones that are actually fruitful? Yes. And one of the keys to that, a major key to that, is what I wrote about here in the book, Decode Your Pain. And I'm going to show a little video here in just a second about when I was doing one of a local bookstore. I did a talk, and I provided some details about this book, about the concepts here that I'm finding are being taught in other areas of the world, and it's so synchronously and beautifully aligned. I'm so proud to bring this content. So how do we start being our best ally? Now, I started talking about the Biofeild, and we're going to get there in a second. That's the title of tonight's talk, the Biofeild. And what is this field? And is beginning to recognize that we are more than we're taught. We are energetic beings, and there's shifting times, there's shifting patterns. That's why I have this image right here. Because there's certain people who know what time it is. I'll say it that way, who know what time it is. And this is an awakening, consciousness awakening, meaning awareness of what it is to be a human being, awareness of what's right, what's not right, awareness of what you value, what you don't value, and awareness of how to come together, as a species, the humanity, so to speak, of it all. So let's continue. Where was I here? Oh, yes. Let's minimize this. And bringing about how to start being our own best ally. And this is in recognition. This is number one, recognition of what it is that pain represents and what it is that problems represent. It's actually you, part of you, the higher self of you, the higher consciousness of you. It's also you being your best ally. It really is. The pain is really a communication, and it's an unconscious response, meaning you're not thinking about it. It's automatically happening because there's something within you that knows, and it's trying to wake you up, the one who thinks that knows. Whoa. I don't get too deep there, too fast. If you know what I'm talking about, give a thumbs up. Share this with somebody, because when you share it, it helps spread the good vibe. It's the rising tide principle. It's like, pass it forward concept. When I do something good for somebody else, they get inspired to do something good for another person. It just keeps going around and around and around. It's the idea of karma, the law of attraction, in fact. These are universal truths. And so when you can begin to trust these messages, the pain actually it becomes different. And there's a process in which to work with the pain, to actually understand and get the message that it's there for, and then take the appropriate action. Now, there's different levels of action. That's why I have all the things that I've built, because there's mass confusion out there. And look, I don't have all the answers, and it's also why I built what I've built, because I'm bringing in professionals from different areas, in areas that I needed help in. And that's, in part, how this whole process began, was me and my attempts to get out my ideas to help people become more aware. And it ended up in this concept right here called Decode Your Pain. And are you ready to level up? Because this game is about discovering your body's natural healing abilities, learning about the secret language of your body to use pain to set you free. Now, I've since changed that a bit. Essentially turning pain to personal power. This is what it's all about. But those personal power conversations are not all contained in the book. I mean, this would be too much. That being said, I've built a whole system to help people. No, let's get into the material now. Let's get into really what I want to show you. So I have a 2.5 minute video that I did a talk a couple years ago when I was beginning to share these concepts. And let's see if I can pull it up here. Oh, here we are. All right, so I'm going to make sure the volume's on, and you'll get access to this. And this is what is in store when we talk more about what is available in the Transformations program. That's basically a follow-up to like help you get better results from reading the content in the books. So let's take a look here. So how do we get to a human body, and how do we get to the idea of vibration? So first, let's start with water. If I drop a pebble or a rock into the water, you'll see the splash, and then you'll see the ripples that go outward. And so I look at that analogy and I put it into context of me walking into a party and then being angry at everybody, just screaming, "What is everyone doing? This is all wrong." What is the emotional ripple effect that I had on that party? Well, people are getting upset at me, or people are leaving the party because I'm making a scene, or things are just changing. Literally a ripple effect. In fact, I had an experience before I went and traveled overseas at a New Year's Eve party, and someone did something to me I didn't like, and one of the old faults I have in my life is, if you wrong me, well, I'm going to wrong you back by 10 times. I'm going to escalate it significantly. So and this was a wonderful, fun party that had, masks, and everyone got dressed up for the party. And I took this person's mask, threw it on the ground, and I smashed it. And I kid you not, this is in someone's basement. There was 3 floors of people having enjoyment, doing different things and enjoying company of others. And I went upstairs to get away from this other individual, and literally everyone was sad. Everyone was down. No one's experienced. And my brother's had many house parties, and all his friends, we all know each other from all these weird circles, and nobody was having fun for that next half hour. To me, and I'm sensitive to people's feelings. Some people would call that empathetic, an empath. And the party chugged along, trying to get that momentum back. And it took about 30, 40 minutes before the energy was back up. The conversation was flowing again. People were having fun, lighting the fireworks and the firecrackers again. I rocked that party. And I didn't know my own power at that point. I didn't understand how what I did to another impacted not just that other person, but everyone in our immediate environment. Okay, so that was a powerful experience in my life, because I was shown the effects of my actions, and I was aware enough at that time that I saw the effects, and I noted the effects, and I realized the power that my actions have influencing anyone around me. And this is true for you. And where now with my mentorship that I'm going through, I have coaches, and just like with other people, this is where great success is had when people have mentors in their life. You get to reflect in a place where it's about improving yourself. And having conversation with another enacts other principles, other laws of nature that allow you to get greater insight. So that's an affirmation for you to recommend having conversation with someone that you trust. And you respect because of what they've accomplished in life, not just because someone's close to you. I recommend taking advice from people. I invite you to consider what their accomplishments are in life. Are they in alignment with where you want to be in the future? If not, maybe you want to be mindful of what advice you take from the individual. However, I've checked out my mentors, and I really love what they offer, so that's why I'm working with them. And nonetheless, I got to really reflect upon these experiences, and I've gained greater and greater awarenesses of my actions and interactions, and then the response to that, and my response to that, and going back further and further and further of, well, why did I do that? Why was I in that feeling? Why? And I started to begin to ask these questions. There's a whole series of questions and thoughts to consider, and that's why concepts are so important, because when you begin to shift the story, and these are topics that I wrote in the book here, and I'm going to bring up that right now. I can find the right button. Here it is, and there that is. And what I'm talking about here is shifting the story. I'm going to go to the very beginning of the book and show you what I'm talking about here in table of contents. When you recognizing, look, I had in this story I was sharing on that video, I had a moment just like you do. You have a moment where things piss you off, and sometimes that triggers stronger than other times. And so in that pain, in that trigger, in that problem is a story, is a symbol. Right? And then these chapters here begin to talk about the breakdown of how to use these energies and begin to understand this and understand the cycles of time, the cycles of life. That's what that chapter 5 is about. But as you shift things, as you basically are recognizing where you're sabotaging yourself, this is where we get in these mental mind traps. This is where all the personal growth game, pretty much all the relationship game, anything you're wanting and not getting in life, it's about somewhere in your life that you're sabotaging yourself. You become your own worst enemy in certain areas. And this is true for me. And I know it's true for you. It's called being a human. It's part of the condition. See, we're more alike than not. It's a beautiful thing when we begin to look at humanity as a whole, the human species as a whole. It's beautiful because there's certain principles, certain concepts that relate to every person, regardless of where they are in the world, and regardless of the circumstances they find themselves in, and regardless of the drama and the trauma and the severity of that drama and trauma. There is something in there. And I know that's a tough one sometimes to say, and a tough one to hear. And I know there's tragedies out there. With that being said, there is something in there that is needed for you to wake up to. And it may not be yours. It may not be your stuff. It may have been, as I've politely said it to myself, gifted to you. There is sometimes something that our lineage has given us. We're born with it, and we don't know that it's there. And oftentimes, that's the, I don't know why this is happening conversation. I didn't do anything to deserve this conversation. That's exactly right. You didn't, and you don't. And so part of that is unlocking the mystery of life itself. So there's some simple concepts, some simple insights that you may have never been introduced to. But someone like myself has been studying deeply, number one, for their own self, and number two, because it's been observed in the holistic physician community. It's observed, and it's frankly scientifically 100% accepted and well-known science nowadays. You never heard about it. Hoping that you have. There's pieces of it you've heard. But when we can change these beliefs, remember chapter 7 here, you've really literally changed your life. I'm going to pull it up right here, and now I'm going to do a search with you. And it's the Hermetic. I'm just going to use this as the easiest way to get to it. Hermetic law. Okay. And we're going to see the first one is called mentalism. This is probably the most common infographic I've seen lately. And in mentalism, the first law is all is yeah, it's right here. You can't see my pointer. Stinks. But mentalism, all is mind, and the mind is all. The universe is mental. A wonderful researcher. I'll pull her up. She proved this. In fact, she's the one, I just learned this. She's the one who discovered the opioid receptors. And I don't know about you, if you've ever had a painkiller or you heard about the opioid situation in our country, this is what, at the highest level, the worst level, I should say, or the most difficult level, is the heroin epidemic. These are also painkillers. I mean, it's rampant. It's rampant. And this is the doctor who discovered this whole ability of the human body. And her story is amazing, actually. But she discovered the process in which how our emotions are influencing and affecting our life. And this is her website. It's it's Candace Pert. Let's see if I can show you that website name. She has passed. Here it is right there, CandacePert.com. I mean, her material is amazing. And it really is the gateway of bringing in the holistic thinking practices of all the ancient culture, healing and medicine man and shaman and herbalist. It brings it all around. The Vedic gurus, I mean, the ancient Chinese and all the teachings, the Hopi, the Mayan. I mean, this goes on and on and on and on and on. And she brought the West the key that unlocked the answer to get us from these not allowed to be talked about realms in science and brought it into science. And now there's a whole world. I mean, she's not the only one that was making headway. She, just like me, stands on the shoulders of great people. And because of these great people before us, we can just get that little extra and move into this new time, this new change. That's what it's all about here. So let's take a look. The content, the concepts are critical. And I'm going to show you why concepts are critical. I'm going to get to the right graphic here for you. And let's just find see, that's somebody I respect in my world that talks about cycles of time and how to interpret them. And this is another person that I look at because of a lot of reasons of how to determine what time we are in. And let's see here. This is a presentation. Here we are. This is what I want to show you. Okay. Because our concepts and our precepts, the first two, this is what formulates our beliefs, perceptions, expectations, choices, etc., etc. You can see the slide there. And in fact, I'm going to go back one slide to show you this gentleman's comment. This person is a brilliant genius. I highly invite anyone to go check this guy out. But that being said, these quotes right here, he cites. And I've seen these a couple times. So read these quotes for yourself. I'll leave it up for a minute. And recognize that our beliefs and our concepts about what we are, who we are, what life is, may have been engineered. That may be a polite way of saying it. May have been programmed to some extent. Somebody told me a story one time to consider. It was like, if you've only watched 10 movies ever in your life, and I come along and I ask you, well, what's the greatest movie of all time? If I've only ever seen 10 movies, what answer am I giving you? Well, one of those 10. There may be millions of movies to choose from. And if I have not been introduced or checked out these different movies, how could I ever recommend that it's a good movie or not? May have seen the trailer, may have heard people's reviews, but I've never firsthand witnessed it or experienced it. Well, then how do I know? The answer is you don't. So the question you ask and the experience that is had to the asker, the askee, however it goes, you have to be mindful of the response. So this begins to get things interesting. Put on your discovery hat, you get your magnifying glass, you're becoming the investigator. Life becomes interesting versus depressing and overwhelming. And so freeing the mind, learning how to do the mental gymnastics, learning I did have a channel before. It was called Mental Kung Fu. It didn't go anywhere, and I didn't really do much anything. But that was the idea. Because I recognized there was something that as I shifted my beliefs, And here's why. Here's what happened, actually. I attended some seminars, and this is the content that I share in the book. This is the content that I share in my program and classes and groups. And in fact, if you want to check some of that stuff out, there's really only one place to go for access to everything. Then this is the shop where of course, I have the book right there. I share some products that I use that help me heal myself. Planting positive seeds in, and I use other people's content, and I even made affirmation audios for myself because I didn't necessarily trust. Bring it back to the first line of the book that we talked about. I didn't necessarily trust what I was finding out there, so I made my own affirmation audios because I wanted to make sure I was putting in good stuff. I don't expect anyone out there to purchase that, but that was my mission. So I recorded it, I used it, and I put it out here in case someone really wanted to. In fact, I had a great patient experience not that long ago where she said after the adjustment, she turned on one of these affirmations, and it just helped her solve a problem. That's all I can say. Helped her solve problems. And that's really what I love for people. Dr. Kevin G, drkeving.com. That gets you to the page where everything's at. And if you scroll down, we'll talk about this stuff in a moment. But this is, we'll talk about quantum healing, and we have wellness in your pocket. I mean, these are great people I'm connected to here. And this is a talk I gave, and I'm going to be updating the audio on that soon enough. But the beauty's there. The insights are there. You have the power within. It gives you an ability to learn how to decode your pain, learn how to decode the symptoms, learn how to decode those esoteric messages your mind and body and life are sending you. That's what it's all about. And you basically get 2 chapters for free. It's a gift. I want you to have it. I want you to be in the book. If you want the hard copy, it's less than $10. And okay, yep, there's a positivity course that pops up. The point being, why am I doing all this? Is because I was working with patients in my clinic. I still am. And it was the mind realm that was holding people back. That's what held me back. And my journey over the last 15 years has been, number 1, experiencing it. Number 2, finding solutions in it. And then 3, climbing out. I get more. 4, going back into another hole. Found other holes that I didn't necessarily knew were holes in my life. Pitfalls, traps. And that is what I began to build, was Decode Your Pain, because first you have to know there's a problem, then you can find the solutions. In fact, the solutions is what I am doing tonight. After this, we're about to wrap this up. The solutions is called Winning in Every Situation. Living your vision is ultimately the task. And how do we do that? Decode Your Pain is part 1 of all that, essentially to give you the tools to begin to understand and identify where the problems are. But then the reorient. How do you steer that ship? What a great day to set the intentions for the next 6 months to shift yourself into the better direction. Claim it right now. Take a deep breath in and now put your feet on the floor and declare to yourself a better direction, a better quality of life. And that means you're going to have to learn some things, but that's okay. You learn things every day. You may need to drop some things. Dropping the old habits that are no longer serving you. What a big one. So right here, you get access to the book, 2 free chapters. Gives you, in fact, the back of the book. Actually, I'm really proud of this, and you got to see it. So let me make sure I got the right button. Here it is, right there. The last chapter in the book is an appendix, and I'll go right to the end here. It's the most critical part, and it's a framework for you to understand. It's not the total list. And I'm going to pause right here on page 132 because let's look at lungs, breathing. It's the place that integrates everything in life. This is where the gurus make it happen, or the adepts, if you ever heard that term. This is where it happens, the breath. But it's also where we can get stuck really easy. And look at the time. Look at what's happening in our society right now. Look at the topic. I didn't necessarily plan on this by any means, but it just shows. What are we stuck in? We are not guided. We're not instructed in any esoteric knowledge to have this as a reason why we do anything. And so begin to question that. I invite you to question that. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, one of the answers in which I am providing solutions. After this, I go live and I am doing in fact, it's in the description and I'll drop it right now. It's turning the pain and the power. It's called Winning in Every Situation. And we're going to go into greater detail tonight, but what it's all about. I'll drop that link in the chat. That's where you can register and take action on that. In fact, well, that would be, and if you get on there right now, you should get the link to join in live tonight at 8 o'clock. And if you really like it and you're seeing this live and you can't get access to it, hit me up right now. I will give you the live link right now without even have to go through the whole sign up process. That's my promise to you. And my other recommendation is to learn the strategies of how to nourish mind, body, spirit, and soul. Again, these are things that I taught from my mentors over the years. And I share an awesome video here. I love the video. I mean, I'm speaking from my heart here, and I love for you to check it out, because after reviewing what I said and after what this whole book is about, this story that I have here is incomplete. This is an old story. Yes, it still is relevant, and yes, I still am working on, just like you. We're always going to be working on something in our life, and I can enhance it better and better. And I've had another low since this, but it's taken me to new heights because of it. And so I invite you to join in, learn these strategies that I've been learning from my mentors that are just masters in the world. I'm so, as far as personal growth and healing and mindset and heart set, all these type of things, I'm just so thankful. So thankful. Had an amazing call today with one of my mentors, and just shifting, transformative. And I really want that for you. Why? Because it's a collective consciousness. You've heard that we are all one, yet at the same time we have this individual experience. Yet we're all one. What is happening within me is also reflecting outwardly, and what's happening outwardly is reflecting within me. And how do I manage that? How do I handle that? What do I do with that? There's processes. There's simple things that you can do, regardless of the pain and problems. And we all have those things. Yet there's simple concepts that when you get it, shifting it changes your story. Gives you a different experience, a better experience, one that you are co-creating with life, not being slammed around by life. I invite you to a better existence. Go to drkeving.com, DRKEVING. You see it right there at the bottom. Download the free gift. There's a couple free gifts there for you. If you find them all, by all means, use them. Set that tone. Learn to shift your story. Learn the meaning that your body is trying to tell you, and then you have a key to the universe. We weren't given a manual, but you can. The whole purpose of our experiences is to show us the way. Blessings and best regards. Join in at the Winning in Every Situation Monday nights at 8 o'clock. That link's down there. And if you got some value tonight, click the like button. Share this with your friend, the one that you have conversations with about the weird stuff in life, the energies, the frequencies, the synchronicities, the weird coincidences, the pains, the problems. Share it with this person, because then you guys can walk through it together. And when you have someone together, there's a greater positive experience available for you. It's just one of the laws of nature. So that being said, I'll close out with the final thing, which is I call it my mini documentary. It's something little I put together, but it's powerful, and I'm very proud of it. Found a typo. I gotta figure out how to fix that. But nonetheless, enjoy, and thank you for tuning in. It has been another wonderful, successful episode of Transformations. I will see you next Monday evening. And if you're joining the Winning in Every Situation webinar tonight, it's 8 o'clock. Reach out. If you don't have the link, I'll get you ad access. And I'll see you Wednesday, 12 noon, for Synergy Solutions, Remote Quantum Healing. And there's a better way of saying that. I'm learning there's so much word around quantum. There's so much confusion around quantum. So much, what is this energy. Well, it's the things that relates to all of us that brings about the synchronicity, and it brings about life, the things that are just showing up, the messages, the signs, the symbols. There's an aspect within yourself that we can help shift, regardless of where you are in the world. We know the science is there, the data is there, the information is there, the experience is there. Are you there? This is Best Regards. I'm Dr. Kevin.
Hello and welcome, I'm Dr. Kevin Joina, and this is the first introductory video in becoming your own healer. She asked me, how can I feel energy? And the first part of feeling energy is the knowledge base. Second part is learning to attune your body to sensing how to detect the energy.
To shift healthcare in this society, in this world, we need to shift how we think about ourselves. And some of the information is groundbreaking as I bring concepts and techniques and ideas together, and some of it is built on truths that have been around for all of time, all of written history. And I see that our direction as in healthcare has gone awry, and the vision that I hold, as many healers hold, is to bring about a new perspective, a new paradigm in which how we treat ourselves, how we treat our body, how we treat each other. And there's work to be done. Online is my book, Decode Your Pain. You can go to my website, you can find my e-courses. There's a lot of changes happening, and you may be noticing something waking up within you. And what I'm here to do today is to encourage you to continue to work on yourself, to continue to walk through, identify the fears, identify the angers, identify the worries, and accept that they're there. Know that it's a part of the human condition, and if you can simply accept and allow them to be there, they begin to dissolve.